Today we are not only talking about our ladies, but also how to take the best pictures of our ladies. And my next guest is a professional photographer who will tell us a little bit more of how we can take the best photos of our ladies. Portraits. Hey Sebastian, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm very, very well as well. It's kind of funny. We're both not living there anymore, but we're both German. We're both Sebastian, so we have quite a few things in common, especially since we both love pot, no?
Yeah, we both live in Spain. We have the same name. We came from the same country.
Exactly.
Worked for the same breeders somehow, so why not?
Absolutely, absolutely. What brought you to Spain? I think you've been here for quite a while too, no? I've been almost 10 years in Spain now, but you maybe even longer, no?
No, I've been here now, I think 7 years or something like that. So 6 or 7, I don't even know.
Okay.
I was working in Dubai before for 6 years, so I left Germany a while ago, and then I came to Spain just because it was much cheaper and the weather is nice and you can do what you want. So that's why I came here.
Exactly, that's what I love about Spain. I've just visited Italy. I think the people in the chat know that, and you know, the difference is that I was in Sardinia, in the north of Sardinia, and I felt much more like in Germany. Everything was a bit stricter and stuff. I'm like down here in Andalusia, everything is chill, you know, tranquilo. I love that about Spain. That's like my favorite thing.
Me too. Me too, that's why I'm here. I love the lifestyle, I love the attitude they have to life, you know, taking everything more easy, you know, no stress for no reason, and in Germany is exactly the opposite, basically.
Absolutely. No, I love going to Germany, visiting my family, like a week or so, and then I'm like, back out.
Yeah.
Even though I can't wait to see what's happening, how it's gonna develop in Germany with the plant, you know, like that's super. I mean, for you as a German and for me as a German, it's like, I don't know if you've been consuming as long as I've been consuming since I was like 15 or so. So it was always like, you know,
I mean, a bit longer, but the same.
Yeah, so it's like kind of like now it's like, well, are they really gonna change it, and what impact is that gonna take onto the European Union, you know?
And will they really change it? That's the question, you know. Everyone has been waiting for this for how long, you know? Everyone been talking about legalizing. I hope it's coming, you know, because the laws in Germany are completely makes no sense.
Yeah.
They used to chase us for 2 or 3 grams, you know, like as teenagers, and they think about it, it's ridiculous, you know.
I said it before, you are a professional photographer, and you, if I'm informed correctly, you haven't always been just a weed photographer. You've been like...
No, not at all, actually.
So how's your journey? Let me tell me a little bit about your journey, because you were saying you lived in Dubai before?
Yeah, I lived in Dubai, and I worked as an architecture and interior photographer. So I was shooting villas in different places and interior photography for real estate agencies and magazines and stuff like that. Okay. And also on the side, when I didn't have any houses to shoot, I would shoot products, you know. Okay. And that transitioned super easy. But then I was in Dubai for 6 years, and then I came to Spain. And I was still doing the same. I did landscape photography as well. So I did workshops all around the world, teaching people how to do photography. Mm-hmm. And the only point where it changed was when they started with the lockdown and everything, and I couldn't travel anymore. Yeah. No one was buying real estate. No one was interested in real estate photography. No one wanted landscape workshops because you couldn't go anywhere, you know. And I had plants in Spain anyway, you know, so I was growing different plants all the time. Okay. And then I just started, I was like, why not? It's the only thing I can shoot, you know, I have nothing else. So I just started to take pictures for different breeders, and just was like buying seeds at the time. Yeah. And I took pictures of the plants, and then I sent the pictures to the breeders, and they said, hey, can you take more pictures? We send you free seeds, you know. Nice. And that's normally how it starts. And I see many people that I met at cannabis now, they go through the same journey, you know. They're interested in doing cannabis photography. Yeah. And they don't know how to start, you know. And I think the easiest way to start is just shoot for free, show what you got, improve your skills. That's actually the most important. And don't just take pictures and think they look nice. Really look at the best way to learn this is actually because portraits it's all about portraits. So if you want to learn cannabis photography, look at portrait photography. You can learn everything about it. Because if you shoot a person or you shoot a plant, it's a different thing, but the lighting and the techniques, they are pretty much exactly the same. So I use the portrait photography skills to transition into the cannabis photography. And that's pretty much it.
Amazing. So you already gave us the best tip about it. Wait, are we? No, now I guess. So you already gave us the best tip about it. So we're done. Okay, bye. Thanks talking, Sebastian. Ciao. No, so that's super interesting that it's the same then portrait, and I love that you actually integrated it into your name. So your secret is basically already in your name. Amazing.
Yeah, because it is the same thing, you know, like if you shoot portraits, or I did portraits in Dubai as well for companies and headshots for different people, you know, in the office and this and that. And the thing is, it's all about lighting, you know. It's all about light. You can take a plant and you can buy the most expensive camera you want with a 100 megapixel Hasselblad or whatever you want.
Yeah.
But if the lighting is not right, the picture will not look nice. But if you have good lighting, you can even use your phone. And I'm not pro phone photography. I mean, if you do it with a phone, it's fine, but it's not, you know, you cannot deliver phone pictures to clients. That's if someone is interested in doing it professionally, you know.
Yeah.
But the lighting is the foundation of every picture. It's the same in landscape photography. If you take a picture of a mountain during the day, it looks like nothing. If you take it during sunset, it looks amazing, you know.
Okay.
So lighting in photography is the most important part, really, in all aspects, actually.
So since we're already so in depth about it, what is like a simple trick you can give, like, you know, even if it's not doing it as a professional, just I want to have them on my Instagram, or want to have them on my grow diaries or whatever. I want to have some beautiful pictures of my beautiful plants. And I know one thing I can give you: if you don't grow beautiful plants, you can take beautiful pictures.
That's one thing, yeah.
But what's the trick, maybe a simple trick for people about the light to make the pictures look better?
You can create more depth in the picture if you use more lights, you know. You can use one light from the front. Mm-hmm. I mean, the basics in portrait photography is you take one light from the front left or front right. Yeah. Depends, creates a bit of shadows and stuff. That's the basics, what most do. But then if you add lights from the back as well, you get more depth, because you have, in portrait photography, it's called the hair light, you know, for the models, because you get the light from the back, you get like a rim of light, and you get the lighting from the front. Nice. And you can do exactly the same with cannabis plants, because the leaves, they catch the light perfectly, you know. And then it depends on your budget, you know, like, of course, not everyone can buy like 4 lights with soft boxes and everything. Yeah. But you can start with cheap equipment, you know, like nowadays there are so many Chinese knockoff brands that you can buy lights from. And just, I would start with 3, you know, 3 lights. One from the front left or front right, you can choose, because that is another thing, because if you choose front left, and it becomes like your signature, you know, the lighting, because the people see always the same angle of light, then you should stick to it, you know. And then, for example, you can shoot 1 light front left and then 2 from the back, just to give it like the hair light that you would have in portrait photography. In this case, it's the leaf light, because you're photographing a cannabis plant. And that changes a lot. If you use 3 lights, it makes a huge difference. Okay. And also, the balance of the lighting is the front light, in my opinion, should always be dialed down a bit, because the backlight also creates light, you know what I mean? And the backlights are stronger, you see more of the rim, and the front is still lit up, you know? Cool.
Thank you so much for all these tips. This is like, but did you start, because you said you had plants anyway, and that's what you were growing. So when did you start growing your own herbs? Because we just talked about it. You did consume before, probably when you were in Germany. I mean, when I was in Germany, I never grew. Maybe when I was a teenager, like outdoors guerrilla style, but that I never really count that, because it was just playing around. I knew the plant a little bit, but not like I know the plant now. When did you did it start in Spain, because it's just normal here, kind of?
No, when I went to Spain was when I had the first chance to really start growing again, because obviously in Dubai you cannot grow, you know. And in Germany, when we were like teenagers, we had plants in the forest and stuff, and they were growing super big because the forest soil is amazing, and they don't get enough light, so they stretch a lot. And we were like, oh my god, they're amazing plants, but they were not so amazing, you know.
Yeah.
But then I completely lost the connection to cannabis completely, actually, from 18 when I started driving, and in our area there was so many testing.
Oh, crazy. Wow.
And because I had a how do you say it, a BTMG, you know, like registered for cannabis, because they caught me once, so I couldn't smoke or do anything, because anytime they would stop you, they would do a urine test in Germany and this and that, you know.
Crazy.
So I completely disconnected from cannabis till I came back to Spain, you know. And I was like, now I'm here. It's a free country. I can do what I want, you know. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna grow plants, you know.
Amazing.
Because I had always vegetable gardens, you know, and organic vegetable gardens. And I thought the same for cannabis. Like, why should I buy some chemically grown, not flushed flower if I can just grow my own organic, you know?
Absolutely.
And that's how it started.
Absolutely.
And then when they started, yeah.
And so now, since you're growing yourself, and when you try other people's herbs, do you feel a difference if you know that they're maybe not organically grown? Do you think that, or is this just...
Yeah, for sure, yeah. Because I was, during the time when I was living in a different place, when I came to Spain and I was growing, that's where I started. I was growing there, and the town had, I think, 3 or 4 cannabis clubs. Okay. And I was taking my flower, and I went to the club and I looked at their flower, and I was like, okay, really? I thought, like, I expected more professional flower, you know, you expect better quality.
Yeah, sure.
And then I was talking to the owners and showed them the flowers, and they were like, oh my God, we want to buy it, and blah, 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 you know. But for me, it seems super simple, because I think it's so easy to grow nice organic flower if you want that, or even in nice chemically grown, if you flush it properly and you cure it properly, okay, no problem. But the quality overall in cannabis clubs in let's say the Valencia region, okay, I found it very weak, you know, like I found the quality not very good, and it surprised me because I expected them to have amazing flower, you know. And that's what it is. I mean, all the clubs are different, of course. I cannot talk for all the clubs, but the ones I visited, I was surprised how I don't know, like everything. The smoke was horrible. The ash super black. Everything felt like super dense and not cured at all. And it was like a typical profit market, you know. Like you grow as much as you can. You never flush. You just chop and dry and sell, you know.
Yeah.
Going by weight and not by quality, you know.
Yeah, I have the same feeling, especially if you're like in the cheaper price segments, even in Barcelona in some clubs, you know, like if it's more like, as you said, more on the profit margin, then of course you have like people who really like go with high standards, you know, like they can get really, really good herbs, but then they're like ridiculously expensive, I must say that. Like I'm like, what? I'm paying 15 or 20 euro for a gram of weed? Like I can grow a plant for that money in terms of nutrients, and especially I grow organically too. And for me, just the more soil life I have, as you said with the forest floor back in the day in Germany when you were growing earlier, the more organisms there is, the more fungi, the more bacteria I have in my soil, in my opinion, the better the terps come out in the end. They just have like that tiny little notch better of taste, and that is really what I'm after.
No, I agree totally. I mean, the microbiolife in the soil is the most important, because that makes the biggest difference. And that's when I started to introduce KNF, the Korean natural farming.
Nice.
Because now, just recently I moved, but I was living in the mountains 2.5 years off grid. Okay. In a house, solo basically. It was the only house for 8 kilometers. Wow. And that's why I could grow as much outdoor as I want and as big as I want, and that is the most important. And if you introduce KNF and you make your own microbes, you know, you go in the forest, you remove the pine needles, you find the mycelium,
and then you find like
you collect the mycelium,
nice.
And you make your own mycelium in your own garden. You know, the difference is crazy. the first year when the soil was not prepared, you could see the plants are growing super nice because the climate is perfect.
Yeah.
It's super dry at the end of the year. You have no problems with humidity in the mountains because the house was at like 1,300 meters.
Wow. Okay, crazy.
And then it was super easy, you know. But then the second year, when you start introducing microbes, you use KNF and Korean natural farming, you really see like the benefit, you know. And there's many cases where they compared Korean natural farming compared to chemical farming in vegetable growth, and the harvest of the Korean natural farming was more than the chemical growth. So what's the point of using chemicals, you know?
Amazing.
That's the thing, you know. And KNF is, for me, KNF was a game changer for organic outdoor because it is so easy to make everything. You make your calcium from eggshells with brown rice vinegar.
Yeah, I saw. I think you made a video of that one day, no? I think, didn't I see that on YouTube, I think. So don't forget, guys, check him out on Instagram for sure. He has like, you have more than 10,000 followers, no?
I think now it's going down because I'm shadow banned, but I think 45 or something like that. Or
Crazy. Congrats, man, to that. And I mean, you're doing an amazing job. You do your photos are great, and I always am obviously feel very connected to people who also focus on organic farming, because I try to really feed my soil, really try to make as much living in the soil. And as you said, it's not just for my herbs, it's also for my veggies. I really prefer to have an eye on what I put into my body because who knows what's out there. Sure. Who knows what's out there. And I don't think they always have our health in interest. I think they have profits, just like when they are farming.
For sure not.
You know, if I see like some chemical farms and some hydroponics, I mean, this is amazing what people do, no question. I mean, I think there is weights to the flower where I don't think I can reach with my organic farming, you know, but that is just not this is not what I'm going for. I don't care about the weight. I don't care if I harvest an ounce or a pound, as long as that ounce has the taste to it, really, and that is what it's all about. Like, I get stoned from shitty weed too. Like, we can always get stoned or high, you know, depending on when we harvest and what strains we have. But the like terps and taste like I had the GG4 sherbet, like there was an FF, like a fast flowering strain now from Fast Buds, and oh man, I harvested that and I didn't even cure her, and I'm like, wow, I haven't had anything like that ever before. Like, you find that like one like unicorn strain for you, and you have the right phenotype, and you're like, what is this? And why didn't I take a cutting?
No, it's true for sure. And I also felt that the organic grown always has better flavor, better terpenes for sure. The thing is, that's what you said about hydroponics, because I was growing a few plants hydroponics, especially autoflowers, but it was more like an experimental stage where I wanted to see what's possible. And at the beginning, I tried everything, you know, I tried this, I tried that, see what happens, you know. And for the size, for sure, hydroponics or DWC for me, I think you can never reach that in soil. You can, even with chemicals, even with cocoa, but DWC, the size and the weight, you can never reach it, because I had autoflowers that harvested like 390 grams dry, one plant, you know.
Amazing, crazy.
In hydroponics, and that is in 25-liter bucket, you know. But you see the when you can compare it, because in my garden I had outdoor, then I had organic indoor, and then I had DWC indoor with autoflowers. And I could compare them right away, and the difference is insane, you know. In DWC, they just don't stop growing. The plant is drinking like a 25-liter bucket full of solvent and nutrients and everything. When the plant is big and they go like, I don't know, 1.50 meters, but the ramification of the branches is extreme, you know. And it can be like 1.5 days and the bucket is empty. One day the bucket is empty, you know. The plant is just taking all in without resistance, you know.
Crazy.
And of course the flowers are massive, you know, like one cola wet is like 200 grams, you know.
Crazy, mind blowing.
And that is the thing, but in the end, I think for the flavor, that organic was always better, you know, had more density and had more terpenes in general, you know. And for me, for the plant itself, for the cannabis plant, I think the terpenes are much more important than the THC content. That's where I feel like in many ways it went in the wrong direction, you know. because I always compare it to the wine industry, and I say like no one is advertising their wine saying like, wow, this has like 25 or 30%, you know. It's about the flavor, it's not about the strength, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And then also the fact that the terpenes have such a big impact on how you feel the high, you know. For example, limonene causing a much stronger high. That's why people, they smoke a Landrace strain, a pure sativa that has maybe 8% THC, and they were like, wow, this was so strong, how is that possible? It's only 8%. But the terpenes are the main influence on all of that, you know.
True that, for sure. And I feel like, for example, the purple lemonade, Fastwood's purple lemonade, is more... genetically speaking, she's leaning more on the indica a little bit. She's quite balanced, but that boost because that's the most limonene strain I know, you know, purple and limonene, and that boost in the beginning, it's like it almost feels like I am talking on like a Malawi or something, like a pure sativa. It's like and it shoots right into your head. The cerebral and the uplifting of that limonene is one of my favorite effects in cannabis. When it starts out like that, and then you get maybe a little bit of that more hybrid mellow at one point, it like calms down, so you get a little bit towards your body. It's like one of the most amazing feelings I can have when I'm vaping. I'm actually not smoking.
I enjoyed that one a lot as well. The purple lemonade was really nice. I had it in hydroponics as well. One of them, and was amazing. That was amazing.
What's your favorite Fastwood strain, by the way?
I think honestly, because of the run I had, and it was so unique and the flavor was so nice, I think the strawberry banana.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Because I had that in organic in soil, and it looked insane, the plant. It was just white, you know, like there was nothing. There was just trichomes on the plant completely. And for me, it was amazing. But the mimosa was amazing as well. And there's many amazing strains, you know. It's hard to choose, you know.
Always hard to choose. And it's often for me that my favorite strain is one of the last 5, 6, 7 I grew, because I feel like you have that memory still present, you know. Maybe, you know, for example, like from the last testers, she's never been released, this 2304, I grew her, and she had that limonene boost, but on top of that, like a bit of that funk, like that diesel kind of like, you know, pungentness to it. So that mix to me was like spot on. So I had to just regrow her, because I was like, no, that's the high I'm after, and that's like the kind of like the taste I'm after. And I think I'm gonna do the same thing now soon with the GG4 Sherbet FF. I just have to regrow the strains I'm loving, because you know, it's nice to have a stable. I guess because I always grow all the testers, and I have like a 10 full of plants. Like there's 8 plants in it. I have no clue what they are. You know, there's 5 autos, 3 fast flowerings in there. I don't know what they are, and I'm sure they're all gonna be great.
It's the same here.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's in there. It's the new testers. I don't know, fast flowering and autos. I have no idea. We'll see.
I can't wait. So how far are yours in? Wait, now.
Now we're back.
No, yeah. How far are yours along, your testers and your right now?
A few weeks. I don't even know exactly. I think like 2 or 3 weeks, something like that.
Like this
growing
size,
now,
right? Mine are like this size.
yeah, more or less.
They're just starting to be switching from the pre-veg to the like real. Now they're gonna go in veg.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit concerned. I was on vacation for 2.5 weeks, and it's the first time ever I just planted all the seeds and I left them, and all I did was just like an automated water system, so I could turn the pump on and off, and that's it. See it on camera, and it turned out amazing. Everybody is doing well, you know. Of course, some are a bit smaller, but that's normal. But now I'm gonna go in that they are shifting into the real vegging mode. And I'm gonna go for 10 days to LA and Vegas, and I'm a little bit afraid like how they're gonna do without me, because I've never done that I abandoned like basically in the first 4 weeks of their life. I'm only there for like 6 days, so let's hope that they're gonna
But there's also something to it, because plants, they react to human interaction, I mean, now in the past they said it's crazy, but it's actually true. Now you see they're making studies on it, how plants react if you enter the room and this and that and blah, blah, blah. So I noticed a lot when I was starting. I spent all my time with the plants because it was like I had nothing else to do. You couldn't go anywhere, I was just in the growing like all day.
Was hard here in Spain.
It was not easy, and that's it, And then I felt like I got the best results then, because I was always there, always checking, always pruning, always training, But of course, with daily life and then things you cannot do it, you have to automate it as good as possible, and then see what happens. But most of the times it works out well, As long as they get water, they're fine. As long as they have light, it's good.
I am not so worried because I think when I'm gonna come back is when they're gonna like shift into pre-flower, so more or less. So, like 3 weeks from now, they're gonna be going to pre-flower. So I'm gonna be back for like the real pre-flower flowering phase, which I think is the most important. The only thing I'm a little bit concerned about is that my automatic water system is giving very punctual kind of water, and I'm trying to do not equal, exactly, and I'm trying to have like living soil kind of conditions, so that means my soil on the outside dries out a little bit too much, and that is the issue. That then when I'm coming back, right now I'm gonna do the whole compost tea treatments and everything just to like get the microbial life going on again. So like I think I have to go and get some straw so I can like maybe I throw some more cover crop on top and throw some straw on top of it just to keep the soil moist while I'm gone, and then maybe even over watering them the day when I leave with compost
just a bit, so they have like a reserve,
just so that the whole soil life is stable, even if it's like not that good for them in the first 1 or 2 days, that it's too much water, just to make sure that they are that the soil is living, like that plants adapt. If they don't get giant, I don't care. They are just for testing / taking photos / if they're really good, I'm gonna enter them in a cup. But so it doesn't matter how much I grow. It's not, for me, it's never about weight. And so for me, it's like as long as I keep the soil alive, because that's when I came back home. Yes, they were right around the plants, was great, the soil, but then in the center around, and I have this big, I'm gonna show it to you sometime. I have this, for the first time, a big pot. It's a 120 by 60 by 40, so it's almost 300 liters of soil. And I just have that filled because I try to, for me, the easiest way to really have organic living soil, kind of, you need to have like a lot of volume, because then the soil just like lives better than if you try to mimic that on like 10 or 15 liters.
No, yeah, for sure. With the watering, if you use that, it's different. But if, for example, if people use normal pots or fabric pots, like I use most of the times, I think clay pebbles at the top are really nice, because even if you have an automated watering system, the clay pebbles, because of the shape, it will spread the water more, it is not very punctual, because a lot of people use these rings for watering, and they have like 6 or 7 jets or 8 or whatever. But if you have a double layer of clay pebbles, it will spread through the clay pebbles and will be distributed more equally, and also helps from drying out.
I tried to do that before, but I've never thought of it like, out of the automated water system, because I try to be with my plants normally, but right now life carries me away, so I just can't do it. And I can't wait to connect with the community in the States, and the Canadians. They're all gonna come to Vegas, and I'm super stoked about that. But it is sometimes it's still, you have that like, I do like to be with my plants too,
because you feel the danger of something going wrong, and then you're not there, that's the thing. I know that.
And you have that security camera, and you can see it like, oh no, what's wrong?
You can even watch it live when it goes wrong now.
Exactly. I did a stupid mistake. I have this is a German company called Danfbox, It's like a all-in-one kind of system. And I did a stupid mistake. You have to put an SD card in it. So it basically remembers where it is in its cycle if you have power outages. And you said you were living in the campo before, you know? So, you know, I live in the campo. I have electricity, but it's very, you know...
On and off,
usually once a day or so I lose my electricity. So what happened, it must have just like every time I lost electricity, it started the day from the beginning, and so it got completely out of whack. And it started humming on me, and I'm like, no. And I came back home. The only bad thing which happened that's 2.5 weeks I was on vacation is like I come back, and from the camera it looks beautiful. On the top buds, really nice. They're coming. I come and smell them. I'm like, oh, you have the terps right where I want them. And I look down. That's pollen. No, it hurt on me. No, it hurt on me. What did I do? I didn't. And I was like, what did I do wrong? Wait, there was something about this SD card. And I'm like, you know.
Now you know.
Yeah, you know, we make our mistakes and we have to like live with them, and that's just what it is, you know. I'm like, what can we do?
As long as you have grid power, you know, everything is actually pretty easy, you know. Because when I was in the mountain, the house was completely solar powered because it's completely off grid, you know.
Yeah.
And then you have like, and I was still growing indoor with a quite big amount of LEDs, you know.
Nice.
And a lot of solar panels, you know, a lot of solar panels to compensate for the use, you know. Because if you live in that house where I lived, and you live like, I mean, it's not a normal place because it's the only house solar on a mountain on the top, and there's nothing else around, you know. Wow. But if you live like a normal life and you use like a TV or you use like a radio, it's all good. But I had a whole grow room, you know, 5 by 5 meters, all with LEDs. Wow. So I had to buy solar panels like crazy to power that, you know, and batteries as well. And batteries is the expensive part, you know. But
so you powered them with solar panels, but did you let them run like in the warmer months? Because did you let them, because it gets hot here in Spain, probably even on top of that mountain? Yeah. Did you let them run at night and have them stored in battery? Because I was almost thinking about like doing that, like solar powered LED kind of thing. Is that what you did?
No, I was running the lights during the day because the heat was not too much of a problem. You have like a peak. I had a peak around August, but normally the temperature I had on the top of the mountain compared to the coast was always 6 degrees less, you know. Okay. So when it was peak summer heat, I had like 28 degrees, 27 degrees. It was super nice, you know.
Nice.
And then I had enough. I overcompensated with the solar panels, so I can charge really fast, you know. And then the battery life was enough to charge from the morning. When the lights turn on, I had enough battery stored or enough power stored, and then during the day the panels, they were making a lot of power. They made like 5,000-6,000 watts, you know, the whole day, and they were charging at the same time, and you can grow indoor, you know. And but for me, I think that was the most challenging time, because if you have like 4 or 5 cloudy days back to back, what you're gonna do, you know? Yeah. You can run the generator, you know, but that is not ideal, you know. That was not my ideal.
Yeah, of course.
So I had to get even more solar panels, so that when it's a cloudy day, I had enough solar panels to create like 2,000 watts at least, you know, to power the whole house and to power the grow room and to power the computer for editing and everything, you know. And
crazy, yeah.
But for me, that living up there was I think the best experience so far, because everything was completely self-sustaining. Cut your own firewood in the forest and this and that, you know, like heat wood and the whole thing really gets you, especially if you grow outdoor organic. You spend the whole time just walking, you know, because I had a massive vegetable garden. It was all self-sustaining with my own vegetables and everything. I didn't need to buy anything, you know.
Cool.
And then it's so easy because you put all that work in to make your own food, and at the same time you put all the work into the soil, and you can just grow amazing plants without any work, really, you know. And the climate in the mountains is just perfect. You don't have the humidity problems, you don't have powdery mildew, you don't have anything like that, you know. Cool. Always you have a bit of wind up there. It was amazing. For growing was the best. Sounds like
paradise, man. Sounds like paradise. But now you're living not on the mountain anymore.
No, I moved. I moved down.
We have to adjust to life. You know, I need to find a place like that mountain, because yes, I've been renting places and I've been always starting, or let me start a new vegetable garden, and then 1 year later I move again, and then you don't really have any time to really build soil life. Now my soil is good outside. Now I'm thinking about moving again. You know, so it's like kind of comical.
No, that's how it is. And the thing is with the soil, if you have a garden outdoor, you need time to prep it, and you cannot expect the first year to be nice or the second year. You need time to invest, you know. And then over time it will get so nice, because every year you have the rain season again and everything is mixing up. The soil gets better and better every year, you know. And then at some point it's so easy, you just drop the seeds and it will be amazing, you know.
It's already, after 1 year, it's already amazing. My favorite vegetables are the ones I don't plant. You know, like when you have like, oh, there's a celery. Look, that celery is there because last year, 1 meter away from that celery is where I grew my celery. And that's like, I mean, I feel like that's the best one.
Spread,
you know, so, yeah. And also, I had one of the plants I grew this year outdoors. There was a seed I just found somewhere. And usually I just put them in like pots which are like standing around if I don't know what it is. And I did that, and it turned really out that it wasn't a massive plant, but the terps on that plant were my favorite this year. I didn't have a clone or anything, but at least I had like, 50 grams of like really, really, really top shelf wheat. Well, I knew I accidentally crossed it somehow with something, and it was amazing and was a good experience for sure.
No, but that's how it is. I had the same with my compost heap in the mountains, because I was always throwing plants and everything, you know.
Yeah.
And one time I had one male outdoors and was pollinating the others. I throw it on the compost heap. Yeah. And then every spring it was like the compost heap was full of seedlings, you know. The whole garden was full of cannabis plants everywhere, and I didn't plant any of them, you know, because the seeds were spreading everywhere. They just come out. And the funny thing is, you know, those that you don't plant, you know, when you take a plant and you put a seed and you want it to succeed, they need work, you know. But these seeds, they were just random in the compost, and the plants were massive, you know. One of the plants was like 1.80 meter, super massive branch, and I didn't do anything. I didn't water it, I didn't give it any food, nothing, you know. It was just like, I'm here, you know.
But
crazy, these were mostly land-raised genetics, you know.
True, yeah. I personally do my breeding. Like, I obviously always have like fast buds, loads of fast buds. But when I personally do my breeding, usually I search for a nice landrace male and just pollinate a bunch of stuff. I try to do that once a year, and then I have like can play around with that kind of stuff. And then, because you get the benefits for me of the land races in terms, I usually use sativas, like land-raised sativa. You get the high, the MP, you know, you get the like tall plants. This year I had one, my height, also an 8.80 meter tall. But you do get a bit of the more modern bud structure, which is nice in the end, because you have like the bit more the density, and you have like, you know, some of the more modern kind of terps in it. Like, so you have the herbal terps mixed with maybe some sweetness or fruitiness to it. This is just amazing.
Yeah. No, I was lucky, because one guy contacted me on Instagram, and he's from the Philippines.
Yeah.
And he sent me 8 bags of 8 different landrace strains from the Philippines.
Nice.
And they are very unknown, because I didn't know that, because I met Arjan from Greenhouse Seeds at Cannabis. And I was talking to him about the landrace, and he said he never collected any landrace from the Philippines. So I gave him seeds, and I said, do something with it, you know.
Cool.
But I've seen the plants grown in the Philippines, and they're amazing. They have super long flowering times, you know. Yeah. And most of them, they're all 100% sativas. They're super resistant to humidity, because they grow in the Philippines in high humidity conditions. But the flowering time is what makes them almost impossible for indoor, because some of them are 18 weeks, you know, and that it's difficult to grow. You can do 12 right away, you know, and then hope it doesn't get too big, because they grow massive. The guy from the Philippines, he sent me pictures. They have like trees, you know, like almost 3 meters tall, you know. They stretch and stretch the whole time, you know.
I mean, you kind of have to top them, and then you're like, putting a bit too much stress on them too, and like you never know. Like, but it's
you
just
have to train like crazy. It's like a crack, and it just grows everywhere. But I want to grow them one day. I never had the time. I started them, I vegged them, I started flowering them, and I was like, wow, this takes forever. I need the space for other things, But one day I grow them for sure, because they're very unique. You don't find like 100% landrays that much. There are a few companies that offer, but not too many.
True. Yeah. There's there's something to it. I like the mix, and I think sometimes it's probably the same for you than it is for me. We work with this plant and we love the plant for that, but sometimes it's like takes a little bit your focus on maybe what you personally want to do and grow away, because we have to make money, we have to do what we got to do, So, and that seems to be like what you said. So that happened to me with one of the Malawis, a female Malawi. I vegged her. I think I started her in January. I vegged her, then shifted her into flowering. Then she got massive, and I had other photoperiodic testers, so I needed to see who goes where. So I put her. I was an asshole. I put her outside. She started re-vegging. And now she is in flowering. So now I think I have another week or two. I think probably 1 week, because before I go to Vegas, I'm gonna cut her down. So that plant basically took now from January till almost December. Will she go through her life cycle? And I can't wait to try the flowers. They're not super dense, just expected from
they're always thin flowers, but the toppings are amazing on those landraces.
Exactly.
They don't make like chunky colas or anything, but the flavor for me is amazing. I love that stuff.
It's that herbal one. It's that true weedy one. It's a bit more old school kind of stuff, and the high is a little bit different. And I like that, but I also love like modern dessert strain kind of flavors because they're just like when you have that sherry cola, or what you said, that strawberry banana, or like a strawberry gorilla or so, you're like, what the fuck? This really tastes like the name. How is that possible?
Yeah. No, that is like the evolution, of these plants. The landrace is like the OG, You can see like where it came from, and then you look at the modern strains, and you're like, and this is what you can make out of it with breeding, And I think that's the interesting part, to be interested in all of it, try all of it, and just see different strains. And I think the thing is as well, like you said, with the making money, like at the beginning when I was growing just for me, I could choose my strains, but now I cannot choose, It's like what the people book, I have to grow, But at the same time, it's super interesting, because you always get new genetics that are not released, and you're like, okay, what is this? What is that? So it's super fun, I think.
It's crazy when you find like a unicorn, when you find one of those strains, you're like, damn, I can't keep my fingers off it. I can't keep my fingers. I have to take photos, but I can't keep my fingers off the pistils, man. I shouldn't do this but I need to. I just.
No, it's true. It happens many times that you find one and you think this is the one, This is the one. And you think like, it's the same with music, You find a song and you love it so much, you're like, this is the one. There will be no song like that, And it's the same with the strains. And then they release a new one, you grow it, and you're like, oh my god, this is the one, maybe, or the other one, I don't know. Then it's hard to choose, but sometimes you find amazing strains. I know from Fast Buds they had one this is 2 years ago, the fast flowering testers, I think 2 years ago.
Yeah, I remember.
And there was the FFT10, and was one of my favorites. I had it in hydroponics, was massive, and I had it in organic soil, and for me the flavor and everything was perfect, but it never got released.
Well, who knows? Maybe that's the FFGG, the GG4 Sherbet FF. That's what they made out of it in the end, because that thing is like crazy. Because you have that gorilla funk, but you also have that like orangey terps, but not like super sweet. It has like the balance. Like for me now, the best strains have the balance between the fruitiness with that like funky kind of like pungentness to it a little bit. That stuff like. When every taste is like different, every toke you taste is like, oh wait, there's orange. Wait, did I just get some passion fruit? oh no, there's diesel. So you're like, what is going on? That's cool.
Yeah, but for those kind of strains, the best is you have a terpene analysis, you know, and then it's like you can see if it's matching up with what you experience, you know. It's like, what is in there? Linalool, limonene, what, you know.
True that. Sometimes you're so surprised by these analyzers, though. They're like, because the combination of certain terpenes might taste very similar to a limonene, but it's not. Like you're like, well, this strain has to have like at least 25% of the terpenes is limonene, and you're like, no, it's only 6%. Like, but you know, the other matching,
the combination of everything.
Exactly. Man, Sebastian, this is so much fun. I mean, I really was a pleasure talking. It's a pleasure talking. We're running out of time, man. I hope you're gonna be coming back on again. Maybe, I mean, we'll see each other in cannabis, that's for sure, right?
Yeah, that's for sure, yeah.
And maybe one day I'll come in with the Valencia region and can come and visit you over there. If you're ever in the Malaga region for now, you have to come over here, swing by here, and we'll have a little sesh or something.
Sounds good to me.
Thank you so much for everything, and always remember, it's 420 somewhere.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure.
Fast Buds.